Greetings, fellow adventurers. This is Vexus, and I'd like to welcome you to this Let's Play of Dragon Age Inquisition. We will take our third journey into the realm of Thedas. First off, I'd like to thank everyone who sent feedback on the video requesting votes as to how we should create our protagonist in this game. It's very much appreciated, and I now have enough information that I can pretty much make all of the decisions I need to make here at the beginning of the game. But of course, every now and then throughout the remainder of the game, I may occasionally ask for your input as well, just as we've done in previous games of the Dragon Age series. Two things I would like to do for this introduction video. And if anyone wants to just get right into the gameplay, they can go ahead and skip to the next one. But there's two things I wanted to get through in this video. First off, just a little bit of intervening backstory to set the setting here, because things do really kind of start right in the middle of everything. This story takes place about 10 years after the Battle of Denerim, where Warden Vexus destroyed the Archdemon on top of Fort Draken. And it takes place 4 years after the events in Kirkwall with the Mage Uprising. In those 4 intervening years since Dragon Age 2, the Mage-Templar War has basically become an all-out conflict spanning across most of the known world of Thedas. Both the Circles of Magi and the Templars have now declared their formal independence of Chantry control and are basically conducting the war on their own. It was thought that perhaps the great Empire of Orlais might be able to resolve the conflict. However, they are currently embattled in their own civil war during the past year before this story starts. And so with that, the Chantry has called, as kind of a final desperate hope for peace, a great conclave, and has managed to achieve the impossible and to get the leaders of both the Circle of Magi and the Templar Order to come and basically hold peace talks. And that is where our story is going to pick up. As you can see here on the screen, both mages and Templars are marching towards this Chantry enclave here for the scheduled talks. Now the second thing is going to be to create our character. And like I said, things really kind of start in the middle of everything, so you'll see what I mean as soon as I say start new game. Assuming that the game can connect to the internet, that is. There we go. Alright. Alright. Oh, I guess I should also mention just really quickly, I am using some new recording software. Hopefully it should get me a substantially higher frame rate than what I've been using in the past. So kind of cross your fingers. Hopefully that'll make this game look even better than the previous Let's Play of Life is Strange. So if you start a new game, you see what happens at the Enclave. Yep. A big boom. If Anders is behind it, this time I will kill him. Okay. Now, the first vote for everyone was, is our protagonist going to be male or female? And the winner, it was pretty close, as can be expected, but the winner was female. Next was, what race should the protagonist be? We have the choice of human, elf, dwarf, and for the first time, Qunari. This vote was razor close between human and elf. I must say, I'm kind of surprised there weren't more votes for Qunari. I remember when I played this game for the first time, I had to be Qunari because I had been wanting to kind of experience their culture a little bit more firsthand ever since the very first game with the character of Sten. So that was a bit of a surprise. But it really came down to literally one vote between human and elf. But the choice was human. So we'll go with that. Next up was class. This wasn't as close. And it really came down to either one of the types of warriors or a mage. And turns out that the mage won out. So we select a mage. And as with previous Dragon Age games, I'll be putting on a casual mode, simply to make sure that the story can go by at a pretty good pace, because the game content is impressive in size, and I don't want the difficulty level to create too many things of me having to play over and over again. So, as it said here, this is for people that are new to role-playing games or those interested in a purely narrative focus, which is exactly what these Let's Plays are all about. Alright, we have our deck here, and we'll see that cards actually play a large aesthetic role in this game. They're not directly involved in the story, but they play a very good visual role in kind of setting up the overall look of the game. Alright, so here is our chosen backstory. Born to the Trevelyan noble family of Ostwick in the Free Marches, you were originally intended for a life of privilege, until magical abilities surfaced at a young age, and you were forced into a life of confinement within Ostwick's circle of magi. Protected but stifled, educated but isolated, the circle would have been your entire future had the mages not rebelled against Chantry rule. Like it or not, you had to fight for your life against the Templars hunting down all, quote, free mages. You joined the delegation of mages attending a Chantry conclave in hopes of negotiating peace with the Templars. It didn't go well, as we saw. Alright, so, unlike Dragon Age 2, where you played Hawk, who was a Ferelden by birth, but who ended up living in the Free Marches after being a refugee, our hero is going to actually be from the Free Marches. Alright, we can import a custom world state from Dragon Age Keep, and this is a very nice touch that BioWare did, because in all previous Dragon Age games and the entire, thus far, Mass Effect series, in order to have a consistent world that matched the choices that you made before, you had to always save your original saved games from previous playthroughs. Or you had to either find another person online who had a saved game who made the exact same choices you did, which is not as likely, or you had to use some fan-made software to edit save files in order to get the decisions you wanted. And then, of course, that would also come with potential bugs. BioWare has addressed this by having the website DragonAgeKeep.com, where you can create and maintain your own story continuity within the Dragon Age universe. And so, prior to this Let's Play, I made sure to set up a world state that had all of the previous decisions that we've made in the previous two Let's Plays. So hopefully, barring any bugs, this should set it up so that all major decisions that we made will have some kind of repercussions, some major, some minor, in the events to come. So we have our import successful. As often, they have loading screens with various tips. Depending on how long these screens are, I may take some of them out. We'll see how much the editing load is for me as we go through it. But you can flip through at least a couple while you're waiting. Alright, so it seems our hero was in fact right at the site of the Conclave explosion, but somehow she seemed to have survived. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fuss around with the character creation for a little bit, see if I can get something I like. I'm going to use some slider suggestions that I've seen online to try to get a look, because I myself don't have as much talent in crafting a hero to look, particularly good. So I'm going to need a little help here. So I'll fiddle with the usual controls, and I'll come back when I have something that I like. And welcome back. I did my best here. Basically just taking some tips from slider settings that I found online. Try to get a look kind of close to what I was kind of hoping for. I think I did a reasonable job. Another thing that's new in the Dragon Age series with this game is that not only is the protagonist's voice, but you actually have a choice of which voice to have. For both male and female, you have two options. One is the kind of nebulous British accent that's kind of standard fare in fantasy movies. The other one is more of a standard American accent. Now, it's up to you which you would like to choose. I know some people choose one or the other just because they like the sound of it better, one way or the other. Some choose it for story reasons. On the one hand, humans and elves tend to have a more of a British kind of accent in previous games, whereas the Qunari and the dwarves tend to have an American accent. But I just decided to go with the one that I thought fit the look of the character better, in my opinion. And so we're going to go with the British accent for our particular character. So I think we're good. We can accept the changes and we can actually begin. Now it's just left to name the character. Evelyn is the kind of given standard name. But I always have a few names, both male and female, that I like to use for customized characters. Last time we used Oriana for Hawk. This time I like the name Aurora. So Aurora Trevelyan. It doesn't sound too bad, I think. Let's go.